up for the Fulton sisters.
Welcome. I'm really excited to be here again. This is my 7th C21 Canada conference as a licensed realtor. We used to grow up coming here as kids, so this is my 2nd year coming back to speak with you guys on probably one of my favorite topics and probably one of my most highly requested topics, which is social media. So we're going to dive right into that. I'm going to be sticking to the gaming theme of the conference and talking all about how you guys can level up your social media presences. I'm not going to be giving you guys the basics of social media. I think we are all well aware of all these platforms. So I'm going to be teaching you guys a lot more like detailed strategy behind our account, actually. So for those of you that do not know me, my name's Katelyn Fulton. I'm one of the 3 sisters. I've got Carly and Paige here with me as well. I'm a broker owner, 3rd generation with C21 Percy Fulton in the Toronto and Durham region area. And I'm actually the face behind a lot of our social media accounts. We don't hire out for these services or anything like that, but I'm just a big nerd for lead generation and marketing. So I do run the accounts at Fulton Sisters, as well as C21 Percy Fulton, which is our brokerage account, but they have 2 different purposes. One's obviously for brokerage stuff, which is agent focused, and the one I'm gonna be talking to you guys about is our sales one. So while we're on this slide, I want you guys to all take a photo of it or grab the QR code. You're gonna get this entire presentation as well as a lot of bonus slides. I do have a lot to share on this topic, but unfortunately I only have a small amount of time with you guys. So you will get some bonus slides on this as well as a full recording video. So I will send that out to you guys as well. So I think we all got that. Okay, so just to get started, this is a big room compared to this morning, and I am a true shy introvert, so it's a little intimidating right now. But just to get things started, I just wanted to see who is currently using social media right now in their real estate business. Okay, so pretty much everybody. How many of you that are running social media are actually generating business and money and clients from these platforms? Okay, a little less. How many of you would like to learn how to make money using your social media platforms? Okay, so we're in the right room right now. So I just want to give a little bit of a background of who us sisters are. We got in the business in 2016, and our account used to be called Life of a Realtor _GTA. And it all started off with really just documenting our entire experience and giving people the inside look of us in working, basically. So we've tried all of the different prospecting methods. So we are feet on the street as well. So we were doing open houses, agent on duty, cold calling. As you can tell from that middle photo, I really love cold calling. We did the door knocking, farming, we've done it all. In fact, actually that bottom photo there, it was T-minus 2 days until we're licensed. So we've actually been filming for a very, very, very long time using these social media platforms before we were even licensed. But once I go through all of these different strategies, what I've learned over the years is that about 80% of our business was actually coming from the people that we know. So friends, family, colleagues. I assume I've seen some heads nod as well. Do we all agree that most of the business is coming from sphere of influence? Okay. So once I discovered that, I wanted to figure out, okay, all these other methods are attracting strangers, but what can I do to get in front of our friends and family on a more daily basis, or get in front of them even more than we currently are? And at the end of the day, it was through social media. So Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. So this is our social media journey. In the top left, I screwed that up this morning. Top left corner, you'll see Paige and I. We're just in our typical realtor outfits, black pose like typical realtors do. And I remember this day very specifically. It was our first headshots that we ever did. And I remember Paige and I were really excited to have like our fashion and get really girly and really show ourselves out there. And the photographer said, I wouldn't wear those skirts, it's gonna sexualize you. And so that's exactly how we kind of came into this industry, and I think how a lot of us come in, where we're kind of put into a little box where we have to be exactly what realtors are supposed to be. And we did it, we played it safe for quite some time, but honestly, it only got us so far. So then eventually Carly came into the business, which you'll see on the top right there. And Carly comes from an HR background with a cosmetics company called Benefit Cosmetics. Do any of you girls know that? Or guys too? So it's a very playful, fun brand. It's very pink, it's very girly. They do a really good job at marketing. So Carly came in with that background, and we hired another branding company to really kind of up our personalities a little bit when it came to our marketing. So as you can see, we're wearing skirts in these photos, but still kind of keeping it pretty safe. Like, we're still smiling, we're not doing the hand pose or anything like that in our photos. And then eventually we're those bottom weirdos in the corner there, in the middle. So now, if you go onto our social media, you'll notice we have a lot more personality. We try to get as much attention as we can. Usually it's through our fashion. We're wearing sunglasses, skirts, we're doing all the stuff. So overall, I think everyone should kind of get out of the box a little bit. You don't necessarily have to be wearing pink blazers or anything like that, but we can have some fun with these platforms. So currently, to this day, we have over 27,000 followers across all of our platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, which are our two main income sources, and then we dabble into YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn, but not a lot of success on those bottom three platforms when it comes to sales. But I don't mention the 27,000 followers because it's something like crazy dramatic. I know tons of agents here that have hundreds and thousands of followers, but I guess my point is that you don't need that many to actually earn an income from this. My first year, I think we had under 1,000 followers. I was still earning $140,000 that first year just from DMing people on Facebook. So just DMing my friends and basically begging for business, but that's how I grew my business from the beginning. And today now we earn over 7 figures organically through Instagram and Facebook. So we're not doing paid ads, they're not strangers. Like I said, 80% of it is still coming from friends and family or agent referrals as well. So there's lots of people that will tell you to stop talking to real estate agents on your platforms, but this is a room of referral partners for us as well. So a lot of our content will go towards real estate agents as well because most of that business is coming from you guys. So we're gonna talk today about how to do more modern day relationship building using your digital platforms for your sphere of influence. So I talk to a lot of real estate agents on a day-to-day basis about how to grow your platforms. And I find that most agents kind of fall into 2 different buckets. So they're either posting and ghosting, which means you're really just posting and then not engaging on the platforms, you're not trying to build relationships, you're not liking, commenting, or following other people. And you probably just heard somebody on a stage one day that said, post every day and business will come. And I'm here to tell you that does not happen. The other one is post and hoping. So you're just posting things and just kind of hoping that business is gonna come from it, but no real strategy. So both these different platforms or these different ways of doing it just does not work. So the other pitfall that I see often is there's a lot of people that will teach you guys how to build followers and get as many views and all of that stuff on all of your posts, which yes, that is important. Obviously, the more people that you know, the better it is. But we do a really good job at marketing ourselves and showing people our brands. But what a lot of agents forget to integrate is the lead generation component into their marketing. So they do a really good job at talking about themselves, promoting themselves, but we're missing a part where we're forgetting how to figure out in our bigger audience who's actually looking to buy or sell real estate. So if you guys were in the audience when I just asked you to put your hands up, are you building trust and are people actually reaching out to you through your platforms? And if they're not trying to hire you, then you're probably missing that lead generation component. So I have a photo of the Kardashians. I know this is gonna be a really controversial family, but I do think that they are kind of onto something when it comes to marketing and generating business. So you've got these strong women. They do a really great job at getting like all this attention. They know how to get a really big audience. But what they also do is they each have their own business. So you've got, I think there's Good American Jeans, you've got the gummies, you've got Skims, Kylie Cosmetics. So what they do is they grab your attention on their social media platforms. They do a really great job at marketing, but then they get you off the platform into purchasing other products from them. So we kind of need, I know we don't all love the Kardashians, but I do think they're onto something when it comes to growing a business using the social media platforms. And that's where we're gonna talk a lot about today, which is getting everybody off Instagram. I know we might have come into this session today thinking how you're gonna grow an audience, but I also wanna teach you guys how to get them off the platforms and really future-proof your business. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I've heard is gonna be banned one day. So these could all just disappear any day now. So just like MySpace, ICQ, MSN, all of those, they kind of disappeared. So these could very well happen one day to social media at some point. So unlike our followers, having a contact list is something that you're actually going to own. And I think we've heard that often when we hear about people talking about marketing. So I'm going to talk today about how you guys can actually build a multi-channel marketing, starting with your social media platforms. So we're going to stick with the gaming theme of leveling up. We're going to talk about a 4-step system. So these are the 4 steps. If you've ever heard me speak before, you know I'm a very systematic type of person. I like checklists. I like easy. I like to make things simple. So we're going to talk about how we can just take a more marketing approach when it comes to your platform so that you guys can organize it as well. So step 1 is through lead attraction. So how do we actually get a whole bunch of people to follow us on our platforms and get as many eyeballs on us as possible, so that we can then go into step 2, which is where we're actually figure out who of our 1,000 followers or whatever is actually looking to buy or sell real estate. How do we get them to put their hands up and let us know? And then how do we nurture those few relationships and then get them ultimately through a buyer-seller consultation all the way to closing? So we kind of think of it like a funnel. And I know the funnel is like a big word of 2024, so we're going to stick with that one as well. So what I want you guys to all do, I want you to all grab your phones, and I want you to open up your Instagram accounts. And then I want you to search Fulton Sisters, and then I want you to give it a follow. This is how you gain leads. I'm just kidding. No, I want you guys to keep it open actually through the presentation, because I know, like most of us real estate agents, we are pretty ADHD. And I know a lot of people, when they talk about marketing, they really talk very theoretically. But I want you guys to, while I'm talking about the different posts and the different stories that we do, now you're going to have a little bit more understanding on my side and why I post the things that I do and how I actually build a business doing it. So you guys see it from the client-facing way right now. I'm going to explain exactly why I'm posting these things. So, something I learned very early on is if you don't promote your business, who will? And I know that we rely a lot on our family, our friends, our past clients. We think that they're going to promote us all the time just because we, I don't know, send them a mug or something, or we just think that people are going to promote us. But at the end of the day, I think that we need to be responsible for our own marketing. We understand ourselves, our values, our business more than anybody else. And I just think it's one of the number one things that we always want to outsource, but I think it's the number one thing that we should not be outsourcing and paying for when it comes to your social media platforms. Do any of you guys pay like a company right now to do your posting and stuff? No one's going to admit it, probably. Okay. So we've never paid for anybody to do our posting or get our messages out there. I think it's really important for us to do that on our own. And this is, I think, where a lot of people struggle as well. So we're going to talk about what we post in order to gain attraction. And for today, I want you to basically not think like a realtor for a second and do that type of marketing that we were trained to do, where you do a post and you say, call me if you're thinking about buying or selling, or all that stuff that we were always taught. And think more on a higher level, marketing level. And that starts with your niche. And this is probably the first step that a lot of real estate agents really avoid when they want to basically get into marketing. So an agent will ask me, what type of content should I be posting? And the first thing I will always ask is, well, who are you talking to? Or who's your ideal audience? And as a real estate agent, obviously we want to talk to everybody. We want to work with all the buyers, all the sellers, investors, whatever it is. We tend to want to talk to everybody, but at the same time, we're talking to nobody when we're doing that. So what us sisters did, I'm just giving you a very detailed niche and how we came across it. So we sat down as sisters and we said, okay, if somebody calls us or emails us, who is our ideal client that we would be so happy for them to be calling us? Because not every client that calls you, you're not excited about all of them, but there's a specific type, and usually they're very similar to who you are. So us sisters, we like introverted home sellers. And I say introverted very specifically because typically introverted home sellers only want to see us once and then they never want to see us again. Sometimes they don't even want to see us again ever. And we've done a ton of listings where we've never seen the house or met the people, and that's because we're attracting a lot of introverts. And I know I'm seeing some shocked faces as well. My brother-in-law over here is probably the most extroverted human you will ever meet, Sanic. So his ideal audience is going to be a lot different than our ideal audience. So yours may be completely different, but when you're thinking about your ideal audience, really get deep on the type of personalities and why. The other one is age 24 to 45. And I say that because I know that these people are online, and I do a good job at doing online marketing. So if your age is older, social media may not be where you're gonna find your ideal clients, but think about the age group that you like to work with as well, so you can figure out where you're gonna find them. And then I mentioned upsizing, because usually upsizing comes with a sale of a home and a purchase of a home. So there's usually a dual purchase and sale in there. Professional, because I like to work with busy professionals that trust to hire other professionals to do their job, and they don't tell me what to do when it comes to my job. So there's very specific people, for example, like a trades guy is not my ideal audience, because they are the type of guys that will tell me how to do my job a lot of the time. So I prefer to work with just different types of busy professionals. Tech savvy, because we like a good client that knows how to use DocuSign or AuthentiSign. I don't want to go to their house and do paperwork. So if you don't like tech savvy, then going to the house, no big deal. I like educated as well, which means they're on those online platforms, they're studying the market, they understand what's going on, so it makes my job a lot easier when it comes to working with that type of client. And then family focused, because we're obviously a family real estate team. So that's how detailed you need to get when it comes to your niche. And once you start to do it, you're gonna realize your ideal client usually tends to be very similar to yourself. And it's not to say I'm gonna turn down the little old ladies that wanna work with us. That's not possible. I'm just not trying to attract a bunch of them throughout the year. We will still work with those clients. I just don't wanna work with those types of clients all the time. So once you figure out your target audience, then you can really dive in to those 4 steps that I talked about. And we're gonna talk about all of these, but really I wanted to know, okay, that's my ideal client, where am I gonna find them, which is typically social media. What do those people want from me? What kind of things could I offer them in exchange for their contact information so I can continue to do that the marketing off the platform as well? And then we're gonna go into lead nurture and conversion. So I'm gonna talk about all these different steps here. So there's lots of different types of posts. So I'm not gonna talk about a specific platform today, but we use Reels, posts, YouTubes, and TikToks, and this is our way that we are going to gain basically a new audience or new eyeballs on us, but also our current eyeballs. But it's our way to really promote our brand and encourage people to visit us. And this is how we build our followers. I do have 365 days of content planning if you guys want that QR code as well. And then on top of on top of the posts and the reels and the videos, we dive into stories. So those are those 24-hour stories that you'll see on your Instagram. Typically, with these posts, this is where I'm gonna build a connection with my current audience. So in the DM. So usually if we're posting, people are gonna be messaging us on the side. And this is where we're gonna be really building those one-on-one connections with people and building trust. And then this is where the conversion actually happens, where people are having those one-on-one conversations with you, and then they start to talk to you about real estate eventually. But this is where it's happened. They're not gonna be posting, like if you're posting on your walls, no one's gonna comment on a post and say, hey Katelyn, I'm looking to sell my home. Like that's just not the reality of it. So that's where those one-on-one connections are really happening in the stories. So we do have 6 content pillars that we try to stick to. We've got entertainment, relatability, education, behind the scenes, real estate, and success. So I'm gonna dive into exactly what that looks like on our posts. So for entertainment, this is like kind of where we kind of have fun. This is where you're gonna see our personalities. Usually has nothing to do with real estate, and that's just, there's a reason why we do it, and that's because this is where we gain more attention. People don't wanna hear about real estate all the time, but where they are gonna message us on a little bit more of a consistent basis is honestly like on our fashion. So if you see, I know it sounds stupid, but when we post our selfies in the mirrors, it starts crazy conversations with people where they either want to know where you're shopping or, I don't know, it's just like fun conversations that don't come off as salesy. The other one is travel. So we'll post where we're traveling or just little tidbits of different travel spots. And in fact, those were getting so much attention that Carly actually started a travel company called Fulton Travel. So sometimes it leads into another business opportunity. And then I've got this post in the top just to give you an example of how silly sometimes you can post. But we found this post of two girls skiing down a mountain, cheersing champagne that kind of like oddly looked like Carly and I. And people actually believed us when we posted it. And we got all these random followers or random people messaging us. Head office actually called us as well. And we're like, where are you girls? I posted it in my stories actually today, so if you wanted to watch the full video. But these are just things that literally make no sense. This is the stuff that people cringe at us about all the time. They think it's weird. I think it's weird too, but it's what kind of gets attention. The more serious stuff, where you kind of start to tell people like about what you know, comes in the education component. So this is where you're gonna see our videos where we're talking about what's going in the market, different problems, whatever is going on. This is where we let people know we know what we're doing. So one of our hacks actually, the bottom photo there is Paige. We actually started to become guests on podcasts. So if you've ever thought about podcasting or you want to do more videos, but maybe you're a little bit more shy like us, where you don't want to be sitting in front of a camera, doing a random script and kind of feeling off about it, we started to go into podcasts where they have studios, they have a videographer, you sit down for an hour, they ask you a bunch of questions, and then at the end they'll send you a couple reels that you can stick onto your platforms, and it cost me no money at all. So I really just had to show up, sit down for an hour, and then we got some free content out of it that we can now post onto our platforms, but I'm also taking advantage of other people's platforms as well. So this is a hack for any introverts or people that are scared of the camera. Get someone to interview you on a podcast. The other thing, I guess, kind of like what I'm doing right now, is I'm talking to you guys about education, and I have Pat here just filming me. And what he's gonna do is, at the end of this, he's gonna cut up a couple clips of a few good things, and then I'll stick those on my platform as well. And then recently, do I have any owners or team leaders in the room? Okay, so what you guys can do as well, so we've been doing Monday meetings for many, many years since our father got into the business. And now we have a videographer that will film the whole thing, and then at the end of it, he makes us 2 reels a week. So we'll get people's attention on Instagram, and then we direct them to the full video on YouTube. And then we get a lot of attention from agents and all that. Because as an owner, sometimes I want to recruit as well in my area, so it's just another way that you can do it to kind of educate your audience. Real estate. This one bothers me the absolute most when I hear marketers up on the stage talking to you guys, and they'll say, don't post your just listed, don't post your just sold, and they really like that's all the stuff that we do. We just do just listed, just sold. I think we should be posting just listed, just sold, but that's a way, because our audience is obviously sellers, so I want my sellers to know I'm gonna do professional photography, videography, full staging. I want them to know the services that I'm providing without putting it on a little postcard saying, I offer staging and blah, 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 blah. Now they can see it in my everyday content, what type of stuff I'm gonna do to market their home. So they do get the least amount of views and interaction for sure, but people are watching it that may think about hiring you, and now they see what type of stuff you're doing to market their home for them. But also taking it a little bit further, which is kind of adding the story to it. So when you guys are doing your just listed, just sold, talk about, like if your pricing strategy is not working, maybe say, okay, we had it on the market for 60 days, it didn't work, we changed the strategy, dropped the price, sold within X amount of days. So start to talk about those problems that you're actually experiencing in that thing, or in that process, that thing. Or if you've got buyers that are getting killed out there on offer nates, and they're losing, talk about that. Say, we had clients, they lost out on 5 offers, and then eventually we did XXX, and then they got the house. So start to talk about more of the behind the scenes strategies that you're doing to get more eyeballs on it. The other thing, I know they were talking about it a little bit yesterday, which is those market reports. Does anybody do video market reports here? Nobody? Couple? So I know they're boring as well. No one really wants to hear them. So what we did is we'll just film ourselves in We have like the same 4 like videos that look different, but we have us in like colorful outfits. And our audience really likes the month over month stats, which everybody can do. If you just do a quick video, and then you just do January price, February price, March price, and just go through like the average price on the market. And then in the caption, then you're gonna talk more about what's going on in the market. We have found that this is the more successful and a little bit easier to do instead of sitting in front of a camera and talking to it. This one is authenticity and relatability. This is the one I'm always teetering on. I don't think it's that cool to do, like, it's good to add personal stuff, but I don't like to add too much personal stuff. I do think that people do prefer more consistent professionalism from us. So if you're crying on a camera all the time, I don't think that people like cater to that, but I do think people do like to see a little bit more of your personal side. Whenever Carly posts a photo of her and Sanic, I keep bringing Sanic up today, but Sanic, people tend to like those posts a little bit more. They engage a little bit more when they're more personal. Or we'll throw that we have a 4th sister as well, and that tends to throw people in a loop as well. So those get some posts when you start to post more of like your more personal stuff, but not too personal. And then just recently this year, I tried to go a little bit more authentic, and Carly and I posted this selfie of us at our fertility clinics and kind of went a little bit briefly into our fertility struggles and all of that. And I call that my $60,000 post, only because it led into 150 DMs from both men and women. And then it resulted in a buy sale from clients that we connected with. So I don't think we have to go authentic. It does prove that it works, but this one I always teeter with a little bit. And then of course behind the scenes, we like to always post in our stories what we're up to, all of our office meetings, conferences. So when we're in meetings like this, we like to let our clients know that we're consistently kind of keeping on top of our knowledge and that we're interacting with other agents from all across the country. People like to see that you've got recommendations or you know local restaurants. It gives you an opportunity to also tag other restaurants. They get to know you as well. So I do think that some behind the scenes is okay, just not live while you're there. And then finally, success. This is one that a lot of agents don't feel comfortable posting as well. Whenever I tell my agents to post those like quarterly awards that you guys get from C21, they do get a lot of engagement. People congratulate you, both clients and agents. So I do think that people want to work with successful people. So I do think it's okay to post your awards once in a while. So like I said, coming up with an ideal audience, you want to know what their pain points are or like what you can offer them in exchange for their contact information. So like I said, we work with a lot of introverted home sellers. So what they typically want to know is what their house is worth, but they don't want to have an in-person meeting. So what we offer them is an instant online home evaluation where they can go to a landing page, put their information in, and instantly we'll send them a home evaluation. And in exchange for that, I get all of their contact information. The other one that we have is our home seller's guide. So we have these like custom made that really show off what we do, what our team does to sell homes. So we offer this as well, where people can give us their email address or their mailing address, and we can actually mail them a guide. So even if they do that home evaluation link, they'll put their address in and their email. So instantly, we can then email them a home seller's guide as well. Or now we've got their mailing address, so we can then take it a step further and actually mail them a home seller's guide as well. And we'll talk about webinars as well. Now, in order to do this, so once you've got your lead magnet, it could be a home buyer's guide, it could be a seller's guide, it can be a webinar. It's something that you can offer in exchange for some contact information. And usually we get the contact information on what's called the landing page, which I think we all know. So on our landing pages, I want to know their name. I want to know their address, so multi-level marketing, because now when I have their mailing address, now I can mail them stuff. So this is where I'm taking it a little bit more old school from using the new school ways. But now we've got access to their addresses. I also have their email address, so I can now do email marketing to them and consistently do email campaigns. And I have their phone number as well, and I can phone them, or I'm not gonna phone them, but I will text them. I'm definitely not calling anybody, but if you're a caller, now you have their phone number to follow up with a phone call once they've put their hand up to say, hey, I actually do have a house to sell, I'm interested in your products. Now you have all of their contact information, which a lot of people are not doing on their social media platforms. They're just keeping it on there. So just last month, just to show you that it works, I guess. Last month we had 25 home evaluation links, or people clicked on our link, and we sent out 25 home evaluations. So that's 25 new contacts that I added to our database just through that link that we did in our, I'll show you guys how we did that as well. I have Remarketer, if you want to know where that home evaluation is from. It's called Remarketer. It's a website, CRM, and online home evaluation links. So how do we get people to actually go to these landing pages? So a lot of people will have landing pages, or you guys all have websites, but no one's going to them because we're not directing traffic to them. So if you guys are on our Instagram right now, I posted them just this morning, but this is how we do it. So I put it in our stories, and there's these 2 links that you'll see. So let's say you don't have a landing page, but you can maybe email somebody your home buyer or home seller guide. So in your stories, you can put, there's a question sticker, and you can put email address below, and they'll just fill out their email address. And then it's a little bit more of a manual process this way, but that's an option if you don't have a landing page. The other one would be, we would post up saying, hey, what's my home worth? And we keep it either fancy like that, or sometimes it'll literally just be a link and like no words, just very plain story. And it'll say, what's my home worth? And then it links. So you've got a link button there in your stories, and then you can directly link them to your website as well. And then again, they'll put their contact information, I'll get a notification, and then I can follow up with them. The link in bio as well, this one doesn't work as well for me. So sometimes we'll do a post and I'll say, go to link in bio for a home evaluation. But honestly, I don't think it works as well as it does in the stories. I'm gonna say if you do this method, don't expect to have like hundreds of thousands of people filling these out. I don't either. Maybe I'll get 0 people filling this out, and then there's a random time where I'll have 5 people fill it out. So I usually just say post these types of stories at least like once a week, because you just might never know when they're gonna be interested. But this is typically where all the sales is gonna happen. Another lead magnet. This is kind of a sample of what I gave one of my agents. So her ideal audience is first-time home buyers. So what can she offer first-time home buyers? Probably an information session. So she does webinars for first-time home buyers. So we gave her kind of a 3-week plan where for 2 weeks, she is just consistently putting out content on how to attract buyers. So how do you save for a down payment, or just like all these different things about how to attract buyers, basically, or information for them. And then for 1 week, she'll promote that she has a webinar coming up the week after, and she'll say, sign up for my home buyers webinar. She'll get a whole bunch of contacts signing up for it. Maybe half of them will show up to the webinar, and then she's got an even narrower list. After they show up to the webinar, now she can set up a personal consultation with them to do more one-on-one. So if your home buyers is your ideal audience, this is a really good method that one of our agents uses. And I think she does them like once a month. Okay, so now we're gonna go to level 3, which is the lead nurture. So once you've built your audience, you've got some lead magnets where you're capturing contact information, what can we do to now continue to nurture those relationships? Because most of the time they're gonna put their hand up that they want your home buyer's guide or seller's guide, but they're not actually looking to do anything anytime soon. So we do have to continue to nurture the relationship. So we have 2 different methods. One is through automation. So anytime we get an email address, basically for those home evaluations or seller's guide, we automatically put them onto our CRM. We do use the Hub21 C21 Engage, and I think now they launched ActivePipe this week for you guys as well. So we do email marketing. We put them on just an automated one, so this one's just happening in the background. I don't put a whole lot of effort into it. I set it up once a year, and I analyze what works and what doesn't work, and then I change it up. So for us, they're either getting a seasonal maintenance newsletter, that's all through Hub21. They'll get a link to neighborhood news, which I will be honest, didn't work very well this year, so I will not be adding that to my 2025 newsletters. And then I do the CMA newsletter as well. So I actually re-put that home evaluation link in all of my newsletters so that my past clients are also getting it. So every quarter they will get a link, or the subject will say, how much equity do I have in my home? and then I'll reintroduce the home evaluation link. So instead of doing manual CMAs for our clients, they'll just go to the link when they want to know what their house is worth. And then I get a notice saying such and such filled out a home evaluation, and then I can follow up with them just from my email marketing on who clicked the link. And then every December we send more of a personal family update. I will say a lot of us have the holiday newsletters. That was our most highly unsubscribed newsletter in 2023. So if you guys are on those types of like very generic newsletters for holidays, I would take it off because you put all this effort into building your email list and then they unsubscribe and now they're not getting any of your good content. So if that was just one of our analysis that we did in 2023. So to take it further, we also do a manual follow-up. So those were all nurtured. Those newsletters are already set up and automated. So once we've maybe booked a consultation, whether a buyer or seller consultation, or we have someone that's in our DMs or texting us all the time about real estate, or they ask about specific properties, what we'll do is we'll actually put them on a separate Excel sheet that is just narrowed down onto those people that we've actually met with. If they're a buyer, they will automatically get put onto an automated property search, and then more manual, we'll just send recommendations as we see. Because we all have those buyers that kind of ghost you for a little bit. They don't want to talk to you, but we will still consistently send them properties to remind them that we're still looking, and it's more manual than the automated stuff. If they're a seller, same thing, we'll just send them like market updates if their neighbor sold or anything like that, and we'll just send them some properties in their neighborhood. So until they're ready to go, we will keep sending them more manual stuff until they're ready to get to the next step. The other lead nurturing we do, which is more just, I guess, like a silly thing, but you could do something very simple, but flowers is kind of our love language, part of our family. Our father always kind of bought us flowers for birthdays and stuff like that. So if I am on my social media and I see somebody had a baby or they're, I don't know, had a promotion or maybe a death in the family, we'll send flowers directly to their house. And that's just another offline marketing method that we'll do. Just by watching our social media platforms, we'll just send them flowers that way. And Kalia, that company, is really cool because I send a big giant blue box and really pretty flowers. So it's kind of a fun thing. And they might tag us on social media usually when they receive it. And then it's just kind of extra cross promotion as well. So once you guys have nurtured the relationships, then finally the conversion happens. So this is a long process to get to the conversion. On average, I would say we get about 3 to 4 people a month that will say, okay, I'm ready to buy or I'm ready to sell. So I've been nurturing them usually on average for about 18 months before I get these 3 types of emails. I know you can't read them, but that top email is someone that said, hey, I'm ready to list my condo. That condo's on the market right now. These buyers are actually going out tonight, put in a few offers that they've lost. And then that bottom one just firmed up last week. And these were just emails that we just received over like the last month. So usually you'll see that these are emails. So they're actually not even messaging me on Instagram or Facebook or anything. But because I took them off the platform, now they're emailing me when they're ready to go. And these are the best types of leads that you're going to get because they're coming to you now, right? So it's not too much outreach, but it's comfortable enough for me because I don't have to constantly be cold calling or anything like that. It's all digital. So yeah, 3 to 4 qualified things. And I do have a recommendation. I know it sounds silly, but don't forget to check your DMs and your voicemails, your email, and all of that. And I only mention it because I did have an agent that she was doing this method for about a year and then said, Katelyn, it's not working for me. Like, this is stupid. And then I went to check her phone and realized she hadn't even downloaded the Facebook Messenger app. And she had 5 leads that she completely missed out on that were buyers and sellers. So I know it works, and some people aren't checking their messages because I don't know if they're waiting for them to be DM'd or what it is, but sometimes they email you even though you found them on your social media platforms. And then this is a whole other presentation in itself, but then once you've got those emails that are saying, hey, I'm ready to buy or sell, then you gotta take them through the entire process to convert them. So doing your buyer-seller consultation all the way to closing. We have a 38-point system for each of these, and we just follow the exact same system for that client experience. So even though you got them finally, now you actually have to do the showings and get it on the market and all that good stuff. So this is where the conversion actually happens. So now this is kind of the next level. So once you guys have hit I usually say about 6 figures before you even get into the branding. So once you guys have solidified those 4 steps and figured out your actual marketing system, then you can get into the fun and the branding and all that good stuff. So I always say a great brand is when other people are talking about it. And this is one of the #1 goals my sisters and I had. This was our 5-year goal, was to be one of the most talked about real estate brokerages in our area. And I think we're doing a pretty good job at it. We like to we talk about ourselves. And like I said at the beginning, if I'm not gonna talk about my brand, no one else is. So we want people talking about it, whether it's too silly and girly and colorful and all of that. Good or bad, I want people to talk about it because that's the whole purpose of branding. So this is where we kind of took it a step up. So I taught you guys a lot of the organic stuff. I still don't do paid ads or anything like that. But if you do want, maybe you are at the process where you are ready to step it up in your branding or want a little bit more of a consistent look to your brand, we started investing in a few different things. Branded photo shoots. So what we'll do is we'll hire a photographer, we'll book a studio, get our hair done, pick like a ton of outfits, put it all together. We're kind of creative direct this. We even have like a Pinterest board of all the shots that we want and the vision that we want on our platforms. And then we've got, usually they send about 40, 50 photos. And then I've got content for years. Like this photo shoot was done 3 years ago and I still use this content on our platforms, whether it's on social media, our websites, our seller's guides, whatever it is. I always have professional photos done that aren't just your typical headshots that we all do. So we have a little bit more fun. I don't think everyone has to do like this girly stuff, but you should have some branded photo shoots out there. Other things such as property shoots. So if you are focused on social media and your audience is there, a lot of videographers now will do vertical photos and they'll make reels for your Instagram instead of those horizontal videos that were mostly good for like YouTube. So we invest in, we always ask our videographer just to do an extra video, especially if they're following us on social media, and then we'll just add some fun music to it. I did have a question this morning, which I did forget about, but he asked us why, or like, oh no, we have it on there. We don't go in them. So believe it or not, we don't go in our videos. I never do the whole open the door and promote it. That gives me nightmares. So I just prefer to be behind the camera when it comes to those. I think it's about the house. And I think he told me that he's got clients that want him in the video. So totally up to you guys, but we've never been in our videos for our listings, but mostly because it saves me time. So I don't have to come up with content. I don't have to show up. The videographer just goes on their own. Event filming. So we hire videographers to do our brokerage events. It used to be me behind the camera at all times, but eventually you kind of want to enjoy the moments. So we hire people to come to like client events where we're hosting, and then they'll make us quick content to put on our social media to talk about it. I've got Pat here in the corner who is also currently filming, so he'll give me a few pieces of content to put out as well. So we started upping it up by hiring some videographers for stuff like that. And then just in the last year, we invested in more of a marketing agency, which a lot of people have noticed too. I didn't really believe in brands or logos. I don't think this is what makes you money, but I do think it is what levels it up a little bit. So we do have, I think it's a primary logo, secondary logo, and then they kind of like looked at our social media and they kind of came up with a color scheme for us. Created like some sort of look, 2 fonts, so all of our marketing has the exact same fonts, the same colors, and now when we're promoting on our Facebook and everything, off the platform, everything goes seamless as well. So our for sale signs all match, our Instagram, our website matches, our for sale signs are the same, all of our presentations are the exact same. So once we figured out what like 6 colors to use and what fonts and all that, it really makes your marketing a little bit more easy, to be honest, because I know a lot of people kind of just throw whatever colors they want, whatever logos they want. But once you have like a company that kind of organizes it for you, it really did make a difference. And Carly kind of had to push this one. It's very expensive, but once you get to that level, it is a good step to do. Even our swag. So we're basically just walking billboards at this point. I don't know if you've seen our Fulton agents around, but we have a lot of Fulton swag every year. So we're always constantly kind of promoting our own brand. And I think that's kind of, it makes it fun, but it gets people to talk about it. If you don't have a branding company, C21 also does have a really good branding guide as well. So they do the same thing. So it's kind of just more corporate feel, I guess, but you can have fonts, colors, photos, and all that. So if you're not quite ready to brand yourself in your own, then you can use the C21 stuff as well, which I use for our brokerage. Cool. I think that's almost it. So just in summary, I know it sounds like a lot, but it is only 4 steps. And if you thought this presentation, you were like, I am not doing social media, that's really stupid, you can use this whatever type of marketing that you want. So this morning I was talking about open houses, for example. So if you said, I'm not doing digital marketing, but I do a lot of open houses, you can use these same 4 steps, same way. So step 1, how do I get people to come to my open house? Which is through flyers, door knocking, maybe some paid ads. How do I capture leads at the open house? Hopefully you have a buyer seller's guide sitting around where you can capture email addresses on the spot to email them your guide. Or you have those sign-in sheets as well. So with those sign-in sheets, a lot of people will just throw them out. We should be taking like those emails, those addresses, so that now we can mail them some stuff. We can do email marketing and follow up with them, and then continue to nurture with whatever platforms you want, and then convert them. So you can use these 4 steps in whatever method. I just use these 4 steps online, but you can totally do the same thing when it comes to offline farming and all that stuff as well. I do run an online training program. I'll just kind of throw it out there, but I have an ebook. I do a lot of system training where I do step-by-step training with you guys on lead generation and marketing, communication, client experience, the schedule optimization, and I go through a whole bunch of systems with you guys. So if you're interested in hearing me talk a little bit more, I do have an online training program as well that maybe interests you as well. And that's it. So don't forget to follow the Fulton sisters. And my homework for you guys this week was really just to follow each other on your social media platforms. When you guys are getting each other's business cards, put each other on your social media, put each other's information into your CRM platforms. So you can email each other, you can direct mail each other, but don't forget about agents because you guys are each other's referral partners as well. And it's a good opportunity to add each other to your platforms as well, even though they always tell you not to do that, but I think you should. That's all I got. Thank you.